in perfection, you are missing out on a lot. It's not possible to live life for success for a million people. You will not come out of it alive. Define success in your own terms.
Warning, this podcast episode discusses sensitive topics, including mental health, abuse, and suicide. The content may be distressing or triggering for some listeners. If you or someone you know is struggling, please consider seeking support from a mental health professional or contacting a crisis helpline in your area. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to the Heart to Mic podcast. I'm your host, Chebet Ronoh. Here we celebrate the power of authentic conversations, and together we'll explore our emotions, challenges, and growth through powerful storytelling. Guys, najua nashindaga nikisema hivi lakini for real. This time, I'm serious. I have been wanting to speak to this woman for such a long time, mainly because I admire her so much and I want her to hear it, let it sink in, that I'm in like complete awe of the woman that she's becoming. And because I don't think I'll do justice, other than affirming her, I don't think I will do justice to introduce her, so I'll allow her to introduce herself.
Oh my goodness. Who are you?
None other than Chebet Ronoh.
Thank you. Oh my God. I'm happy to be here. My name is Chebet Ronoh. I am.
You are.
Yeah, I am.
Shanza na wisdom. I'm like, we're off to a great start. Na tulikuwa tumeshaanza kuongea huku behind the scenes, story imeshashika, lakini I'm so happy to have you here. Kidogo nipatie heart attack asubuhi though.
No, I had to come.
Nilikuwa tu like
come rain, come sunshine. If Steph beeps.
Yeah, nilisema sijui tutafanya nini, but I don't know where to start with you. Maybe we can just go with the flow with the conversation, but I think the woman that you are today is worth recognizing and worth applauding, because I know the amount of effort, time, tears, because we don't see the behind the scenes. We see the end result.
Yeah.
So we see this skin glowing, the body is popping, the booty is popping.
But you knew this.
Nothing new. But like, we don't see the process. And I know based on my own experience that changing who you have been to fit who you want to become and who you've always envisioned yourself being, it's a very, very difficult process. And I want to know, when was like the last straw?
The last straw, I think repeating cycles. It becomes a point where you're like, I can't be going through the same thing.
Over and over again.
The same partner, the same chaos. I want better for myself. And I think when I hit rock bottom, kasema,
Basement is crazy.
I was like, no, why don't I love myself?
Yeah,
let's get into
like
it.
kidogo, you have to start respecting yourself a bit more.
Yes.
And I think when you start also hearing things and like perspective as to how people view you, now would you only the same way, they'll go to like, hey,
it's some weird cognitive dissonance.
Yes.
Where everyone can see your light, but when it's the worst place to be. I always feel like, no.
Yeah, Bambi.
You're Iwezi, man.
Iwezi.
You can't be loved. It doesn't have to be like you're successful, but there are even people they're loved in their family, but they don't see it. And I'm like, nah. We should be able to see ourselves from, our own light.
Yeah. And I think for me, I've always just been a fan. As it from way back then.
Every time I meet you, Steph, vibes.
I'm just
vibes.
like, who you? Ajui. And the same way, there are certain people that I've been able to see just immaculate light from them that I'm like, for sure, you're about to just do great things. And you're one of those people. I remember the first time maybe we had met in a physical gathering. We were doing the opening of 25th Hive in Karen.
Yes.
And you were at the peak of your confidence. And then I couldn't
Oh, nana.
And I think we're getting there, but we're getting like a Ronoh 2.0 version. Do you think that you are just scratching the surface with who you think or you want to become? Where you are right now?
For sure.
What makes you think that?
I feel like I've envisioned myself in the highest form. Even whenever, I think this is the rooftop. No, I want to be greater and great. So I think these are just the beginning stages. This is the foundation work. I'm still maybe making a few of the same mistakes. So there are things to refine.
Yeah.
There's places to refine. And for sure I know if this is the beginning, I can't imagine the end.
Na bado friend.
Yeah.
Wako ready kweli?
I don't miss already. So it's too. So sikide, you know, bro.
Sasa umesema Kiswahili yani kitokozwe. Kidogo ile kenweli bora.
Lazima.
But today now we're speaking right now. How's your heart?
How's my heart? Healing. I think there's some healing left to do. And acceptance in some areas, but stronger. Yes. Definitely not where I used to be. And I can appreciate that. But yeah, there's still some healing and some beliefs I want to let go of. Yeah.
I feel like the fact that you're aware of the things that you need to change, tweak, the things that you're not happy with, I feel like it's a fast level of like healing. And even grieving the old version of yourself. I think sometimes I look in the mirror and I'm like, well, that's how unajiona nani maze. Well, what makes you think that you're allowed to step into this place? But I'm also, who is the one that makes the decision as to who is meant to be who and what? And I think the superpower that we have is like there's only one of one. And wallahi brav, sikudanganyi, there's only one of Chebet Ronoh. There's no one else who can do what you do. Absolutely no one else. Like, I don't know, like, wow, maybe she's here, guys. Cut the cameras, dead ass. Tumemaliza interview. See you later. But like, it's I can feel your light in this room. I can feel your energy in this room. And it is just by how poised you are. Na bado tu na meta. Can you imagine?
Wow. And I think it's important to be around people who tell you the truth about yourself.
Yeah.
I think
like anything kama unachoma.
Yeah,
Mimi sasa
for
sure. I'm like Sister Nancy.
Tulia kidogo. Yeah.
Naomba relax. You know, like you're doing a little bit much when it comes to these things. But like when it comes to healing and like social media, because I think majority of your growth has been witnessed in front of our eyes, which can be a good thing, but at the same time I feel like the internet is just a very harsh place, or rather it can be very volatile to someone. Have you ever contemplated letting go of the career altogether?
A couple of times. Actually, that you mentioned it, I've been trying to keep my vulnerability back to myself, because there's a lot of healing I've done in public, and I'm like, so what's for me? What don't I show people? What do I wanna, protect?
Keep to yourself.
So there's that, and then, you've asked me something about, what is this? What have you asked me?
Like if you've ever wanted to quit.
Oh, yes. A couple of times. But if I'm being honest, I never even fully believed it. I think I just did it because I'm jam. I'm done, guys.
Oh, God.
Drama.
Listen. This is like when you're with an ex-boyfriend or a toxic ex, you're just like, to my channel. Yeah. For real this time. And then when I'm like, you up?
Actually, I'm at your front door, fine.
You didn't have to ask. You were screaming too loud in my phone. Didn't have to come. Yeah.
And that time I said, "Kuja, come, nilisikia."
Delulu. Yeah, but I think I it's so saddening, honestly, because there are times that I've seen the internet back you up, and then there are times that I've seen the internet break you down. But all in good measure, to be honest, because there are times you've just gone off on us. Ulisema itabidi mimi. Nataka naomba niongee. Naomba
niseme kitu.
Yeah, But like, do you, now that we've seen all these things online, and I don't think you foresaw the fact that people may not necessarily receive this version of you or the different versions of you that we have had, like nicely, or in that moment where you just like, fuck it, these are my thoughts, and mtazichukua ama mnyamaze.
I think I've just always been
real.
Yeah, like this.
And
that day is like, I don't know better.
Yeah.
And I'm still going to say, you know what, it's fine. And I know better now. And I don't relate to that. But I had to do that to be here. I just accept, but I can change my future also.
And even you can change kesho.
Even right now.
It will change. Yeah. Nani they will just have to adjust. It's your world and we're living in it, basically.
And another thing, it's like, there's someone who told me it's the man who's in the arena. At the end of the day, even if people say he failed or she didn't fail or she did it well, there are guys who agree with what I do. Like there are guys who say, hey, but thank God you went off for those guys. You know? But there are others who don't. And I think it's just the man in the arena. And how do I feel about it and what can I do better?
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about like way back, Chebet as a kid. Did you have like a fulfilling, happy childhood? Mambo ni bulai.
Kuna consent form.
I'm stupid. Because I think we speak so much about our childhood, and I think our childhoods, I've said it so many times on this pod, like it genuinely has so much to do with who we end up becoming. And sometimes it's like a cycle where we go back to the roots of who we are. So how was that? Paint a picture for me.
You know what's crazy is I was listening to a lady today talk about how repeating cycles is a form of your inner child being bruised. So you didn't get enough emotional support or it wasn't the best childhood. Actually, if I remember my childhood, I was quite bullied. And then our environments changed a lot. I was in abroad and then I was in Kenya and then I was in the pits of Kenya. Like, just, dance. I was like, hey, guys.
The pits of Kenya is crazy to me.
And
so different lifestyles, different group of friends, different environments. Yeah.
Shock.
Every time you're adjusting.
So I would say it was chaotic. But there was still pockets of love in those moments. But maybe the environment wasn't the best. And consider the bullying, I think that I didn't realize that until therapy. I was like, apparently being bullied in high school affects you. Don't do this, gosh, guys.
No, it truly does. I think for me, I was bullied in primary and then I ended up becoming a bully in high school. But then I was bullied in life. Yani?
That's the thing.
I said, Sawa, but you got me. Here, Tosha Gary. Hey. I said, you're finishing me, Bola. I've just arrived. So I think it's definitely like a cycle where you end up reaching out to that child and whatever they experienced, and you always want to heal her in one way or another. It's like you're in a constant journey, a cycle of picking up and saving our inner child in one way or another. And like, how do you think that being chaotic has now presented itself in Chebet, the adult?
You know, when I realized I was emotionally a child, like I would react to situations how my inner child, where I stopped growing emotionally. So if it's an argument, I'd be overreactive or it'll take up so much of my mind. And my reactions were just crazy. Like at some point I was like, what? I didn't even know this was in me. So there's that, and also like not being able to commit to something. That's another thing. Like I'd start something on the way, I'm like, if the buzz is not there anymore, I'm
not feeling it.
I don't know. Like if the vibes are not fine at work, I have to go.
Sorry, I know my value. I'm saving my mental health.
Why are you late to my mental health? So the Cinderella phase, yeah. And then the capacity to handle situations was just minimal. You know, when like people were like, that's something you just move over, move on. Yeah.
That was very difficult for you to do.
Yeah.
And now when it comes to the topic of starting and stopping things.
Call out, yeah.
When you call out, like in society, we're trying to be consistent.
Yeah.
You had, I think I've seen you teasing for your own show.
Yes.
Where are we at with that?
I think I want to give myself a deadline by the because this is now jokes.
Yeah.
I think before December. Before December.
Because we not to tease, not to tease.
Kill us every show. Catch on.
It's coming.
Watch out.
Watch out. Hashtag coming soon.
They've been watching out.
They've been coming out soon for a while.
So like what?
Yeah.
I think also another thing I realized, when you don't start, as you were saying, it's either this or you can't be double-minded. When you don't commit to something, you'll do anything.
Yeah.
The reason
unago upepo.
Yeah.
Unapelekwa hii side.
Cycles ndo hizo. Because you're not committed to anything.
So we're working on a deadline.
Yes, we're working.
And what are the difficulties that you're facing when it comes to this starting your show? Because generally, I feel like the world needs that. Again, when I said there's only one of you, when it comes to like, in my opinion, when it comes to when I look at comedy and like comic skits on Instagram. You're the OG for that. Like, hatukuwa tunajua hizo mambo before wewe uanze kufanya hizo vitu. Starting to wear the wigs and all these things. I think everyone else started doing the same things, skit-wise, when you had already spearheaded that journey. Sasa mbona tusiblessiwe na whole show centered a fully production, yani kila kitu from wigs, wardrobe, everything. Wow. You give us that experience so that we can see, you know, Auntie Debs. We see all the versions of you in one sitting and experience that. And also, there's a way you can storytell and tell us the story of your life through that skit and through comedy. But sasa unatunyima.
Apana.
It's giving just the tip.
No. I think, also you see how Dave Chappelle...
I've said just the tip.
Because, you know, edging. Anyway. Yeah. You know how Dave Chappelle does he started this whole skit kind of thing. How he was authentically like bringing out characters. I think that's what I want to do. In a parodic way.
So umesema sahi na it was something you were thinking about. Maybe hatujaongea juu yake and me I can see it as well.
Shame.
So we can still refer to that thing where we talk about we need to see ourselves the same way other people see us, if not better.
Clock it.
If not better. Because if all of us can see the extremes at which you can go to achieve what Chebet Ronoh is meant to achieve, then you should see it as well. You should, if anything, we unafaa kuona map out, kuona plan, kuona kila kitu, tuko tu like, we saw it coming. Let's go, you know? And maybe aspects of you are still holding on to the past version of yourself. Tuko therapy.
Clock. You will be hearing from my lawyers.
Don't pay a therapist. I'm here for you. But like, I think, and that's now what's leading up to the next thing that I want to talk about, which is forgiveness. And I think maybe as I've picked up with the many conversations that we've had, but also the most recent one that we had, where you felt like you undervalued yourself. It is, I think, I picked up situations or like statements that you were making regarding Chebet in the past. And I was like, maybe she's not fully let go of who she was. And I think that is forgiveness. Like, I don't think you've fully forgiven yourself. Yes, you've made peace with that version. You've made peace with the mistakes that you've made. But I don't think you've entirely forgiven yourself. Because with forgiveness, I think you'll be able to now see yourself in this new light and be like, oh, by the way, my rate card, imepanda. Na itabidi sasa nyi mmenipata kwenye niko. I'm not gonna go down to meet you because that Chebet doesn't exist anymore. There. But I think there are still strings that are attached. Are we dealing with that?
So I'd say distractions, bro.
Nikubaya. Healing is tough. No, like in healing is tough though. Yeah.
You know, like sometimes I'm set on something and then
something distracts you. And I think, you know, with my journey with just letting go of the past, making space for the new, it is also for a moment I felt like I needed to rely on community, and community generally helped, but I needed to also rely on myself. You know, the way you would say my mom for sure will come through. Can we say there's no problem? Can we be like Chebet for sure will come through for herself? Like, can we get to a place where that is 100% true? You know, regardless of the situation. Can we exercise that muscle to the point where we're like, by the Chebet we can say no and we are going to be fine? Like, you fully rely on yourself completely. Trust. Like we can jump off the cliff and I know Chebet will hold on to herself. Chebet will find a solution. Chebet will step out of her comfort zone to make things work. Chebet will, you know, clear and, you know, dust off the dust of her shoulders or whatever, or the trauma or the pain or whatever, to make sure that she can be fit enough for this opportunity. Will Chebet value herself as this version of herself, or will Chebet still hold on to, you know? And I realized over time that self-work or self-love is not just the things we do, but how we talk to ourselves. Because me, I can talk highly of you. Like, you know, talk about when the home, unajiambia nini? You fat bitch. Not really. That's how not your version. Fuck.
That voice.
You know.
No.
Like, and I think that is something that we're all struggling with. And I think I've seen moments where you doubt yourself. Like, sijui tutafikaje to a point where you love yourself just as much, if not more, than anyone else could ever show you love. Like, uko tu sawa. You understand? Like, and I think when people talk about healing, they want to make it look like, oh my God, it's so glamorous. But show me.
Healing is tough.
It's
the most nastiest thing. But after that nasty work, you'll get to the other side. But before that,
it's tough. And every single time when you're at the beginning stages of healing something or healing a season of your life that maybe you had skipped, it will still have to start nasty. Like Amma said, we are saying it is forgiveness.
Yes.
So we're in the beginning stages of forgiveness. Yes. Is it not nasty?
It's nasty because you have to remember you are dumb. You have to accept you are dumb.
You chini. Now we got chini buyer. Honestly, by the I probably could have done better. And Chebet deserves better. So we'll work towards making this version of Chebet understand that she deserves better. And that's like an everyday thing.
It is with everything. Intentional with everything. How you wake up, how you pray,
how you dress, how you look, how you show up, how you talk about yourself, how you show up with your friendships, how you value yourself with partnerships, everything.
Because how you handle you is how you handle the world.
And how the world will handle you in return. Kama ujiheshimu sisi tutakuheshimu
aje.
Kama ujipendi sisi tutakupenda.
Aje.
Show me. And you'll always have friends when you're doing well. And you'll always also have friends when you're not doing well.
Yeah.
But by yourself, are you comfortable in your own skin? Are you happy with who you are? Truly. Na si atile tu kusema by day. I'm doing well. But like, for real.
When you look in the mirror in the evening.
Are you happy? Are you happy?
I am. I would say yes.
Yeah.
As much as life is still life, I'm constantly, I'm at a constant with myself. Yeah. Right now, there's a form of peace and knowing. As much Kitambo was like, catastrophic.
Yeah.
But now it's like there's a peace and knowing that I've got myself.
There's even a peace and there's a peaceful energy that you're exuding.
Oh.
Like it's very calm. It's giving like
dandelions.
Like it's giving. I like it. It's like, oh, and we hang out.
I plan to like better it.
Yes. So you slowly, I think, because we the woman you want to become. And there are many people who have already spearheaded that journey for you to show you what that can look like.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
The people you've identified. The stories that you'd like to emulate. Even if, obviously, you'll do it differently because it's you. But you've seen that path has already been created.
That they look like you too.
They look like you too. They had the same journey. They have similarities. So it's just working towards that.
Can I ask you in return?
What?
The woman, have you seen yourself to your higher self? And what do you envision?
I think I have, I think I'm slowly like fucking with this babe.
I love it.
Like, kuna venye inabamba.
I love it.
Kuna venye inabamba. In that, and I think what is contributing to that a lot is the fact that I'm sober. So I remember things, There's a lot of clarity. I'm able to be present and not just present for, let's be present, let's make memories. No, like, sina simu, I am actually here with you. Mentally, I'm here with you. Physically, I'm here with you. Emotionally, I can feel your energy. And I'm extremely, like, invested in just consuming whatever you have for me and vice versa. And with that, I feel like the people around me are experiencing such a great version of me because I'm not limiting myself in any way. But also, I am extending so much grace with myself because I know I've now realized that life, ma'am, we're just like, it gets better. But even once it gets better, when you decide to now challenge yourself and go to the next level, you will experience difficulties.
Even sometimes bigger demons.
And my mom always says, the higher the level, the higher the devil. So she tells me all the time, like, I want you to make peace with the fact that not every day life will be great. And know that it can be a bad day, but kesho we can try again. But even kesho he decides to just go segemnege, we can try the next day after that.
Yeah.
So it's like making peace with that. So like even earlier when I was telling you that my birthday is on Monday.
Happy birthday, Cherono! That's the first time I call you Cherono.
Yeah! Cherono na Chebet.
Yeah.
If you're on a podcast, guys, let's just... But like I'm turning 27. For the longest time on the face of the internet, I could not speak about my age because I just always felt like whatever people had envisioned me achieving, I have not done it yet. So saki kuambia ndo mseme, by that time ezeka na hajafanya ABCD. So let me keep the age to myself. And then I realized that the more I spoke about my age in certain social settings, it was received in the opposite way. So I was like, what am I holding on to? What shame am I holding on to? But now, nasikia kama nimeongea. But
hakuna hapa yapping hakuna.
Yeah. But now in the beginning of the year, I was very like, we were doing vision boards and everything, and I was like, I want a healthy relationship. And for me, what a healthy relationship is, it is based on a friendship. I want to be boys with my person.
Best friends.
Like literally boys. Like naweza kuchongwa na uwezi kujam. Like this is a fair game. Jana ulikuwa na kabaya na si ati nini.
Honesty.
Na mbona ulikuwa umeba hivyo?
Let's address that.
Yes, address us, because you've had better days. Like I want to have a pure and just genuine friendship with my partner, but also in the beginning of the year, it came from the expectations of my family. Like, okay, around this time, even as we were finding husbands, what's going on, Chomi? And I realized that maybe my priorities were shifted a little bit. I've now regained conscious, and I'm on the driver's seat now, so I'm able to control the narrative. But before, it was people's expectations. Maybe we need to get married. Yeah. You know, do we want to get married? Do we want to have children? What type of mother will I become? So there's so many stresses that came with that. You need to open a business of your own so that you can have money of your own, because again, mtoto ni wa mama, so you need to have income. Otherwise, if this man decides, like I'm thinking about so many things, and I was like, breathe, you know. And I've also had a history of just a struggle with birthdays generally. Again, it's trauma. My dad left us one day on my birthday at Splash na kujia till like 8 in the morning, in the evening, and since then I had just never celebrated my birthday. So I've now, as an adult, started seeing the essence of celebrating birthdays, and I'm slowly getting to comfortable with the idea that I am worth being celebrated. So the last maybe 2 birthdays I've celebrated by myself. I've either taken a trip or taken a trip with a small number of people, and we've just been just a small number. Last year I went to Masamara by myself, and it was a very healing trip, because I was just like, let's think, okay, what type of woman do you want to become as a 26-year-old, things of that nature, what things are we going to let go of? That's when my conversations around sobriety started. And now this year I was like, maybe I should join my family and friends, maybe we should come together, we celebrate. And then the minute I started thinking about that, I said, hey, hold up, pressure I mean, tafadhali. Who do I think I am? Georgie Nirangu, please. We're not throwing a whole event, Chomi.
Birthday kona grandma, everything.
To Konadi theme. You can't do that. So I think beginning of this week, I was like, who the hell are we thinking that we're gonna put a whole bash in place for you? Nani atakuja? Nini. And all those thoughts came, and they were overwhelming, and I was like, I'm going to celebrate with these people separately. You know, I think I will divide my time with my friends and divide my time with my family, so that I don't feel like I'm overwhelmed in making sure that they get together. Will you get along with this person? I don't want to think about all those things, because again, we are building the relationship with birthdays slowly, you know. But back to the woman. I feel like Stephanie now respects herself more. Stephanie now says no. Hey, kwanza you know.
Seriously. No.
You know.
No.
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 No. No.
Imagine no.
Nakuna reason. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Like there doesn't have to be a reason for it.
Yeah.
And realizing that no is just a full statement as it is, I'm getting to understand that better, and I'm getting to have a better relationship with the statement no, and not also to misuse it, but to know when it differs with what I'm feeling innately. So if there's an activity, a gathering or something, like I'm not feeling at a shoot.
Do you know if I can't make it, I can't make it.
See, easy.
Yeah.
And if literally my body, my spirit is not at ease, sikam.
Sikam.
Yeah. So like things of that nature. I am also dressing better, because I feel like I love my body better now. Like, and I've made peace with the fact that some days I'll have an ab or two, and then other days I'll have my fupa out.
What's up with those abs? When I catch you abs, hey.
Just mbona unakuja
una dance.
Jichopevu. It's giving like toxic relationships in Nairobi. Like kidogo naomba nijitoe. You know, so it's like Even that, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the fact that on some days I look skinnier.
Yeah.
And
Do
days,
you know, bro? I love that. Yeah. That's so real.
And then there are days I'm like,
That's
hey,
so
show me.
So real.
We can see where the arrows are going. Yeah. So I'm making peace with that.
I can see the flabbies.
You know, like I'm making peace with that. I'm also slowly coming to terms with the fact that I'm just not perfect, you know, like I have flaws. Yeah. And I think that is a level of awareness that I've come to love, because with social media comes a lot of expectations of perfection. And I am far from it, you know. And the minute I believe it is the minute other people will see it too. And I think that is where you become more relatable. So I've come to understand that, but yes, you can be on a sobriety journey, but siku moja utasema by the your wine inaweza slap. Na ni
and that's okay.
There's no shame in that. As long as I'm not going back to the things that actually led me to making the decision of being sober, then I think we're still keeping at par with the journey. You know, I'm making peace with making mistakes as well.
That's the thing. You know, I realize even there's a correlation with being hard on yourself and perfection. Yeah. You'll be so mean to yourself, hard on yourself for no reason. The
negative self-talk. Because again, I always tell every single person that I love, and I think I might start mentioning that as well to you, is that be kind to my friend Chebet in my absence. Because me, when we are here, you're like, oh, I'm the baddest bitch. Alafu tuende uko home, you're talking shit to yourself. So be nice to my friend, even in my absence. And I think having to perfect that art of, yes, there's a negative thought that is coming like, oh, fuck, yesterday I overshared. But what if I impacted someone with the information? You need to immediately
counterattack.
Friends, because if you let it sit,
Nivo. And your brain can't choose. It just takes the thought.
So it needs to be an in and out situation. And I think I'm slowly getting to master that.
Nice. Also the quoting what the Bible says.
Exactly. Yeah. And also I have a tattoo here that says God is within her, she will not fall. This is Psalms 46:5. And kila siku nasemanga, na Mungu ako wapi? He's within you, Chomi. He's within you. And he's not leaving. Whether you're fucking up, whether you've had a drink, whether you've gone back to an ex, whether you've backslidden on your sobriety, he's still there with you. And I think having to affirm myself to that degree, especially knowing that the love that God has for me, I could never compare. So ni sawa.
Wachana tu.
Wacha tu tukae. You can take the throne. If anything, that's why you're on the throne anyway. So I leave that to you. And I think slowly and surely I'm getting to a place where I'm also very stern, you know. Juzi niliambiwa, Steph unakuanga mkali. And I'm like, I can take pride in that a little bit. I'll take pride in that because I'm used to being stepped on. So kufika point yenye mnasema mimi I'm standing on business. Exactly. I'm standing on business.
And you know, I was like, hey, what they know you as being hard.
Exactly. Then kukanyagiwa. Chebet. That's a bit. Can you imagine? That is the reputation. I'd rather say niko strict.
Yeah.
Because I think I've had to be strict with myself before even being strict with the world. So it is those things for like, I really want to go for that party. But I realize I want to go for that party. Why? Because mutaniona na mtanipatia validation ninahitaji. So I'll stay home. So I'm fighting urges, external validation urges, because there'll also be stages in your life where you'll just be like, nataka tu kwamba mimi nimeiva. Unaonanje si ati unaenda ku network. Unataka confirmation.
No wonder the body is body. The dress imekuwa. The makeup
uko tu na low self esteem, babe. Na umejifanya tu uko nayo. So to also be able to distinctively know the reason, the main core reason, the intention why I'm making myself available for certain things, and whether it is selfish or whether it is adding value to me. And when I realize that I'm doing things either to please other people, to get external validation, to look cool, then I'm like, Choro, stay home.
Rethink.
Yeah. Unaweza kaa nyumbani. As uncomfortable as it is, you can be boring for today, because you know this will impact the decisions that you'll make later.
Who you are tomorrow, actually. Also, having, you know, no one talks about the boredom that comes with sobriety.
Mom.
And even just cleansing people, cutting off people, this boring.
It's lonely. Like the other day I was like, and it's something that people have always assumed about me. I'm sure the niggas in your day. Wanaogopa!
Where are the gangsters? Where are the gangsters?
Kujeni na Ravim. Come nikatie.
You know, they really assume.
They're dry, Chomi. I'm being asked about mental health. People asking for advice. They want me to be their mentor. Hakuna mtu ananikatia kule. You know, it's a fact that people assume, uko nje, I'm sure unawatesa. My phone is dry. My phone is dry. If I'm not talking to production, I'm talking to Steve. If I'm talking to Steve, I'm talking to Tara. Just my friends. If not that, my mom.
Na Safaricom
wakiniambia, press 1 to continue with. Sitaki yo kwa jazzy.
You drop me.
You know. So it's generally so boring, but I think that is the price we have to pay for loving ourselves.
Yes.
It is just a price.
I've realized, people like the chaos.
Yeah. They like it when you chini.
Yeah, they love.
Because the minute you are making them uncomfortable with your growth, they're like, hey, we need to attack again.
Dude, and that's what it is. Actually, yesterday, something happened and I was like, something traumatic happened over the weekend. And I was like, why is it that every time I'm going to a higher level, I'm finally, everything's booked, the photo shoots, the needies. Someone tries something. Yeah. Someone wants to try something. So I had to understand that, overcome that and don't let it consume you. And
also make peace with the fact that, of course, because I'm stepping into new territories, they're scared, kidogo. This energy is kidogo.
Even I'm scared,
Yeah. So it had been adjust. And I think I mentioned this, it's going to probably come out in the June vlog, but I said how I'm choosing to look at things going forward whenever it's difficult. Like even today, I was very excited to shoot this episode because it is you, number one, but I was also more prepared because of the previous. I've seen the feedback from the first 3 episodes that have come out, and I'm like, I want to do this better, and I'm excited, and I'm in this space. It is the first good thing that I've done this week for myself also because nimekuwa chini. But tukamka stime kapotea. I said,
we plan, God loves.
Yeah. And I remember when I called my mom told me, don't you think God knows you're shooting?
He knows.
Sasa wewe unataka kumpima with your small faith.
How now?
Start getting ready. Yeah. She said, get ready, be prepared for. Because God will only meet you once you're prepared. Nikaanza kufanya makeup. I started doing my makeup, started getting ready, chose an outfit, we decided to cook, everything is ready. And I was like, the minute I finished my lipstick, I'm walai bilai simelirudi. And it's like, you will obviously meet difficulties and you make peace with the fact that the closer I get to something big, the closer I'm going to be attacked, the more I'm going to be attacked and the more I'm going to be tested. And there's even a saying for, you get tested the most when you're about to elevate.
It's true.
It is true though.
And the blessings are always double.
Yeah, they're double, but also the difficulties, they will hit you. They will hit you and you just have to make peace. Again, we'll go back to that thing where I said, you make peace with the fact that life will always have its ups and downs, but God's presence is there, even in the valleys. He's there. So you need to be just like, hey, huku ni kunoma.
Turbulence.
Lakini, thank you that you're still here. And I know it's very difficult to give thanks in times of like trouble, but like that has to be your anchor because you cannot not make it, friend. You
have to keep going.
You have to keep going. And like being in a space where we are self-employed.
Call the spade.
The spade, mama, kutaf. You think tunaslay kwa Instagram?
We are employers.
We are pitching. We are trying to prove ourselves every single day for these companies to give us money. And with that comes with a lot of uncertain times. There are times you don't have money. What is holding you down, mom? You have to have an anchor. You have to have an anchor. And for me, a spiritual anchor is what I'm referring to. Like you have to have a center. What is drawing you back to peace? Even in those
moments.
Yeah. And I think for me, that's God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same. I feel like God is also my constant right now.
Yeah. And I love that you're unapologetic about him right
I love him, man. Because if without him, every time I did life without God,
dust.
And you can force, but
yeah. So it gets very difficult.
You let him take the wheel now.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you have that for sure. And I think I'm very... it's very evident that God loves you as well. It's very evident. Like the more you're investing in him, the more he invests in you.
It's true.
And it's very evident outwardly, even the way people talk to you. I'm sure you've noticed that there's a difference as to how people are addressing you. Even if it's not as drastic as you'd like for it to be, there's a difference.
Every time you carry yourself with respect, everything just follows in line.
They're just because they don't have a choice.
They don't.
They'll
vibe with your energy, with how you see yourself.
So if you respect yourself, if you love yourself, you want to look good, you're sexy, then that's who we are. You are also in school right now?
Yes, but I'm finishing next year.
What are you studying?
Public health.
Why?
I don't know. That sounds like let me get this degree and say I have a degree.
Please.
Yeah.
That is why.
Yeah. But I liked science. Imagine I actually did like science. And if I was going to study something, I was like, not media. I don't know why.
Because that is a gift. It's
yeah.
easy.
It was
like,
pretty
I got this.
Guys. yeah.
Mimi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mimi.
Like,
the sensation.
You know? Do you actually enjoy it? School? Like school?
Enjoy. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. And I enjoy it is a hard word. I experience it, but it's not bad, and it keeps me busy. Yeah, that's another thing.
I agree.
Yeah.
I feel like school centers me a lot. I've just started autonomy as well.
Like, is that the study of money?
The finance, like money management and investment and just savings. Yeah, nice. And it was one of my wish lists for my birthday this year.
You're like, please.
I said,
enough
Mom,
is enough.
Show me. You were looking at our M-Pesa statements, you're millionaires. Like, look at M-Pesa, niko na fuliza. Sitaki kusikia, but I don't want.
It needs to
I say it needs to
evidence.
Match. It needs to match. So I had asked my mom to pay for Centonium, and then God just did his thing, and they were like, oh, actually, we can give it to you full sponsorship. So
nice.
I'm doing Centonium. I started yesterday. And I think what I loved about...
Physical classes?
No, it's Zoom.
Okay.
But the first thing that the lecturer said, Waidaka, he was like, I hope you know that this is going to be such a tiresome process and a very uncomfortable process because we are literally changing your mentality around money. And that is like therapy in a degree.
In money therapy.
In money therapy. So this is going to be uncomfortable, but growth is always uncomfortable. So allow yourself to hold on to, the why for as long as you're doing this. And I think, again, when it comes to loving yourself, it is also investing in the things that you know you're not good at. Delegating as well. Zile za hapo nimeshindwa.
Improving systems.
So I'm like, I've noticed there's an issue with my money and spending. Also because I'm just constantly healing the inner child.
That's another thing. You can stay there and that's how I'm done. Action.